Did you know? Albino Red Cherry Barb, scientifically named Puntius titteya, is a very beautiful, unique small nano fish. This fish is very popular among aquarists due to its schooling behavior, peaceful disposition, unique color, unique feeding behavior, and small size. This fish can be the highlight in any peaceful community aquarium, and it is a particular standout in the planted aquarium with dark substrate. The wild populations of this fish are unfortunately suffering, but a few farms are cultivating and preserving this magnificent species with mass breeding, and have also developed albino and longfin, or veil-tail, varieties for the aquarium hobby. Following these videos, you have the opportunity to gain much more knowledge about keeping and breeding albino red cherry barb. Here we will share our experiences, which we have while going through many more failed attempts until get successful results. With our experience, we will guide you toward the best pathway without major failures. In this educational video, we will talk about important points that mainly focus on increasing the reproduction capacity of the albino red cherry barb. Here we talk about the origin and natural habitat of the fish, its appearance, behaviors, water chemistry that is compatible with raising cherry barb, sex differentiation of albino red cherry barb, tank mates of albino cherry barb, unique diet and dietary habits, and the most important and interesting part of the video, which is best breeding method of albino red cherry barb. This video is a product that contains many more important points throughout the video. Please try to grab all the details in this video without missing anything. First, we will roll into our intro. We will talk about the origin and natural habitat of red cherry barb. This amazing little fish originates in Sri Lanka. This species is found in the water bodies in the rainforests of Sri Lanka. In its natural habitat, the water is clear, shallow, very low light, nicely vegetated in most places, and very fertile. Although it can be muddy and turbid around the margins, mostly they are hanging around vegetated margins of the small water bodies. Therefore, in a captive setup, also, they like fine substrate and much more vegetated, clear, slow-moving water. The average lifespan in natural habitat will go 3 to 4 years, and it will increase up to 5 years in captive setups. Now we talk about the appearance of albino red cherry barb. An adult red cherry barb size is approximately 1 to 1.5 inches in length. They have an elongated body shape. Both sexes have a distinctive appearance with a creamy pink color. In males, the colors are more pinkish red. As a normal variant of cherry barb albino, one has no black colors in the body. They also have red eyes. In heavily vegetated tanks, they show very bright colors. According to their behavior analysis, albino red cherry barb fish is a shoaling species and must be kept in groups. The minimum size of the group must consist of 8 fish. Keeping them in large groups significantly reduces their stress and helps them show their true natural shoaling behavior and bright colors. Keeping them in large groups will make the fish less nervous and result in a more natural-looking display. As with many barb varieties, darker substrate will also often result in better coloration. Here you can see I use brown soil for the substrate. Now you can see the color of the fish. It is amazing. They have the best colors I have ever seen in my life. Floating plants and driftwood diffuse the light and create a more natural habitat. Albino red cherry barb is a peaceful species. Now we will look into their tank mates. We can put albino red cherry barbs with Asian rummy nose tetra, Galaxy rasbora, planted tank loach varieties, algae eater varieties, red neon blue eye rainbow fish, Sinepa red pencil fish, coral red pencil fish, red lizard whiptail catfish, killifish varieties, dwarf rasbora, chili rasbora, neon tetra, small shrimp varieties, forktail rainbow, Kuboti rasbora, tiger baddies, scarlet baddies, rainbow shiners, and many more non-aggressive nano fish varieties. Now we are talking about the water chemistry of their habitat. Albino cherry barb is very easy to care for. All you must do is replicate their natural habitat in your fish tank. Add a lot of live aquarium plants to replicate their natural environment. And using driftwood, multiple natural decorations can be added. The minimum tank size should be 10 gallons. The ideal water parameters for these fish are Water temperature is 22 Celsius to 25 Celsius. Water, pH, 5 to 6. TDS value should be 100 to 140. Can tolerate GH value in between 3 to 6. When the temperature reduces to 22 Celsius, they will show more colors and activities also markedly increase. The system should be free of ammonia. Also, keep in mind aquarium setup should be cycled for at least 1 month and should start a good nitrogen cycle inside the tank. Therefore, you should prepare the tank and introduce some hard fish such as guppy to the tank and feed them every day. Then your tank nitrogen cycle starts slowly and is established in the tank. Then it will adjust automatically for your quantity of fish slowly. Now we are talking about sex differentiation. Until they mature, it is very hard to differentiate between males and females. The first difference is males are thinner as compared to females. When we take the female, it has a rounded belly. This feature will only be prominent with the maturity of fish because a female's belly gets rounded only with a prominent gravid. When we consider the male, he is bright pinkish red. The female is cream in color. Diet and feeding play a good role in the breeding of this fish. Albino Red Cherry Barb is an omnivore. It is preferable to feed them live and protein-rich foods like brine shrimp, daphnia, cyclops, frozen bloodworms, and fish flake food. Due to their nano size, these fish have small mouths, and you need small food items. Here in Serendib Aquatics, we feed them with decapsulated brine shrimps and Dr. Basleer fish food. Most of the time, they are seeking live foods in the vegetation or floor. When we talk about the breeding of Albino Red Cherry Barb, it is an easy task that can be achieved only with good patience and dedication. Breeding Albino Red Cherry Barb is a challenge. They do not show any parental care for their young. They are open water egg scatterers. There are 2 methods we can use for breeding this amazing fish. The first method involves isolating a small group containing 2 males and 4 or 5 females into a breeding tank, with an air-powered sponge filter and a spawning medium such as palea moss or any moss variety with an egg trap. After the spawning process, you can remove the parents from the tank. This is the effective method that I also use in Serendib aquatic fish breeding projects. The only difference is here I tried with an egg trap initially, but when I removed the egg trap and put the plants freely in the tank, they laid eggs. They are a very shy species. After the egg-laying process, we should remove the parents. It is the best commercial way to increase the reproduction of these fish. The second approach involves maintaining a colony of adults in a larger and fully decorated setup that should allow some fry to survive if well planted. Aquatic mosses and floating plants with trailing roots are recommended as these fish spend the early part of their life close to the water surface. We will talk about the first method further. Set up a separate breeding tank with a sponge filter and egg trap with some plants. The tank should be at least 5 gallons. It is beneficial to use a sponge filter from an already established tank so it facilitates the cycling process of your tank. Also, put some Neocaridina shrimps as biological waste cleaners. They will eat all the left foods and the tank will be less likely to drive towards an ammonia spike. You can see my breeding setup here. I used well-seasoned old water from my main planted tank. It has a soil layer at the bottom, plants, and my cherry red shrimps. Breeding tank water parameters I will mention here. pH value is 6. Here I used Indian almond leaf to reduce the pH value. The TDS value is 130. The water temperature is 28 Celsius. Ammonia is 0. Now choose a healthy, brightly colored male and a female, ideally. A single male can mate with several females during a single day. But here in my case, I use 1 pair of fish. Initially, I selected 2 to 3 females in the breeding tank and fed those decapsulated brine shrimps and mosquito larvae for 1 week. It helped me to make sure that the females were full of eggs. Here you can see my female fish full of eggs following that week. Following 1 week in the late evening, I put the mature male and the female into the tank. Then put your light dim. Male and females should have different bloodlines. It will help to make a healthy fry. Then another 24 hours, they will be there in the tank. Next day evening, turn off the lights, change the 40% of the water, and fill the 40% with cool water, which has tannins. I already prepared the correct amount of tannin water and took the temperature around 18 Celsius. Then I refill the 40% with that water. Water change should be done within 1 to 2 hours. With that change, you should take down the temperature at least from 3 numbers. In my setup, I took down the temperature 28 to 24 Celsius. Most probably next day morning they will spawn. Our water change should imitate the heavy rain. That is why we put cool water and tannins to reduce the pH. If fish are not going to spawn with one water change, the next day you should do the same water change again. It can do 3 days in a row. Most of the time, they will spawn within 3 days. Otherwise, change the parents or feed the female with live foods for another week and try again. Initially, female starts to chase males. It is the initiation of breeding behavior. After 30 minutes, males start to chase the female into the vegetation for spawning. Then male fish push the female into the vegetation and same time, female lays eggs, male fish spread sperm. This will happen as a quick jerky movement near the surface of the water also. You can evidence it in this video also. You can see here eggs are falling into the soil layer. You can see the breeding behavior in this footage. In my case, I switch on the aquarium lights at 6 a.m. and after 1 hour of lights on, they will start to breed. I carefully observe the tank to identify whether the spawning behavior is stopped or not, and at the time they stop the egg-laying process, I take out all parents. Eggs will hatch in the same breeding tank. At the time one female starts to lay eggs, other females and females are searching for eggs to eat. That is why we monitor the spawning behavior closely. And when they stop the spawning behavior at the same time, we should take all parents out from the tank. Otherwise, within 10 to 20 minutes, all eggs will be eaten by other fish, and you will end up with 0 eggs on that day. I had that experience many days ago. Here you can see in my breeding tank I use some large pebble stones. It should be a base layer for breeding barbs. Here you can see these eggs will go through the pebbles layer, and eggs get covered under pebbles. Then most eggs get protection without being eaten by the parents. The incubation period is usually 24 to 48 hours. It depends on the water parameters. Temperature plays a main role in the hatching process. Fry are so small that following first day of hatching, they will hang on a surface in the tank. After second day of hatching, they will start to swim slowly, and on day 3 of hatching, they will start to feed. Then you can feed them Serendib Aquatic Prime Egg Yolk Solution, following day 1 of the free swim stage up to day 5. Following day 5 of the free swim stage, you can feed powder foods, decapsulated brine shrimps, and live brine shrimps. I will put the link in the description for those who are interested in trying the Serendib Aquatic Prime Egg Yolk Solution. You can watch the video on how we make it in the correct method. This is the whole story behind the successful breeding of albino cherry barb fish. This is a very difficult task. You will go through many more failure attempts, but this video will guide you to avoid failures and go toward the successful breeding of the albino cherry barb. Don't worry, hereafter you will be a master of breeding albino cherry barb with good knowledge of its unique set of behaviors. I did crossbreed of albino red cherry barb with veiltail red cherry barb. We can see the color patterns of the fry in our future videos. Keep in touch with the Serendib Aquatic YouTube channel. Thank you for joining Serendib Aquatics. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. I will try to reply to all comments. You can share your knowledge with others about cherry barb breeding. Put your experience as a comment below. Serendib Aquatics will see you in our next fish breeding video as soon as possible. Hang on with Serendib Aquatics. If you think this will help you with your aquarium journey, please be kind enough to subscribe to the Serendib Aquatic YouTube channel for new updates.